Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding is provided by a grant from Absolute Care of Westfield, committed to returning the favor to those who spent a lifetime caring for others. Absolute Care is located at 26 Cass Street in Westfield. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Join us live Saturday mornings between 9 and 10 a.m. in Fredonia, Mayville, and Silver Creek. Call in and share a thought or wish someone a happy birthday with Chautauqua County's only live on-air senior program. Reed continues in his 15th year with interesting guests expressing their viewpoints and informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And good morning. What a beautiful day we have here in Chautauqua County. I have a wonderful guest with me. Every year he comes in and talks about Westfield and small towns in general in Chautauqua County. A lot of this stuff applies to all of us. Dave Carr, familiarly known by his old friends as Red Carr, before his hair turned white. We're going to have fun, though. And remember, this is a live call-in show. Anytime during the program, you may call in and put in your 2 cents worth. Give somebody a pat in the back. Let me take the cheaters off. I don't need them anymore. Pat in the back or a kick in the rear or whatever you want to do. This is your time, and this is your express line on the universe. So go for it. There's a number, 753-JACK. Now, I have lots of things going on around me. As you see the news, it just makes you crazy. New troops in Afghanistan. My God, how can you compound idiocy any further? Everybody in the world has been telling us it's a terrible mistake to go into Afghanistan. You're going to go creeping away with your tail between your legs, just like we did in Vietnam, just like the Russians did, just like the English did, just like even Constantine did, for Christ's sake. It's the stupidest thing on earth. All right, so, well, it kills a lot of our kids, maims them terribly, 10 times as many. And as you know, the only people making a profit here are the munitions dealers. They're making billions. Halliburton and many other large corporations are cleaning house here with money we don't have, incidentally. It's not even funded. We're borrowing it from our grandchildren to turn it over, shovel it over to the giant, rich, powerful industrial complex. I don't know what's going on. Somebody ought to raise hell about that, I guess, but nobody seems to. Not in Congress, anyway. We have the other things on TV that you see are, of course, the higher taxes and, of course, the fact that seniors are still not getting a COLA the second year, and they've lost 50% of their purchasing power in the last 8 years, and now 2 years of COLA. They'll be eating this stuff, guys. This is cat food. And not bad, incidentally. The tender slices of beef, if you heat them up and put a little gravy on them, they're not bad at all. Remember, during the Depression, seniors had to eat cat food, and they lived in their children's basements. And that's what's going to happen to you, ladies and gentlemen. You notice more and more seniors are losing their homes, and it's a fact of life. If you have less, 50%, 60% less power for your dollar because of the phony federal figures of the federal government that's pretending, laughing up their sleeves, seniors, there's no inflation. Who's kidding who? You see, even our local taxes, 9% up on the county level. The state tax is 25%, according to our state senator. They don't count those. They don't count my insurance. Our health insurance, many of us just jumped 20 to 30%. Mine did 20% last month. Yeah, no question. It's a wacky. And in the supermarket, you can't fail to notice that the prices are rising sharply and the containers are getting smaller, which is another interesting factor. The pound is now 14 ounces or 12 ounces. The 14 ounces, the tuna, 6.5 ounce tuna is now 5.5. You notice everything's getting smaller. Yeah, sometimes the containers don't get smaller, there's just less product in them, you know. Inflation just curling your hair all around you. Gas, oil, fuel, anything. Taxes. They don't count those. They don't count food and fuel, and they're phony federal figures. So they can prove with their figures there's no inflation, and therefore, seniors, you will receive the promised COLA to keep up, so at least you can survive, is gone. They've cheated. Somebody ought to go down there and clean that house out, too. All right, enough said. Now I wonder where the AARP is. I see they run regular advertisements all day long, over and over, for insurance. It sounds like it's a big insurance company to me. They have never even let out a peep about the fact that Congress has really let the seniors down and put them in a terrible position, which is unconscionable. I don't see how they can do it with a straight face. Seniors, keep cranking. Cat food in children's basements, coming up. All right, enough of that. Let's get on to something happy. Let's talk about our senior clubs. At least we have another family. Everybody who's a senior can go to the clubs. Every town and community and area and county, they all have bunches, even churches have their senior clubs. And you have a whole new family. You go there, you know these friends. They're friends from a long time. And some of them, you've known them all their lives. They're there to support you. They make a call once in a while. They invite you to dinner. You invite them. You have a wonderful group of people to help each other out. You get sick, they're all over you, bring you food, take care of you, check you in the hospital. Hey, it's a wonderful second family. So join your local senior group. And we have them all over. Westfield has a great one. Dunkirk, Fredonia. Let me talk a little bit about some of them here. I got a news report. And thank you, the Dunkirk Observer. They have a great senior section. Comes in every Friday. And they also have a centerfold that's terrific. Dunkirk's Federated Seniors meets regularly on Tuesdays, and they have a wonderful place to meet over in Dunkirk. They have a great old school, and their next meeting, if you want to drop over there and see them, and you'll see Hallmark and Betty Korzinski, who's doing the January 11th Kitchen Committee. Drop around. They have a great bunch. Lakeshore Seniors, they meet at they're sort of Fredonia group, but they meet at the Dunkirk Senior Center on Wednesdays. And their president is Charlene Hallmark. If you want to get involved, ask Charlene. And they have a great bunch there. I just wanted to mention that their next meeting is January 12th, and you'll meet Irene Christopher doing the coffee and the greetings. And Irene Christopher is a real champion. Pushes big for giving people heart and help and good advice and assistance on breast cancer. Happy birthday over there to Antoinette Arnon, and happy birthday to Sandy Tempesto. Pioneers, well named. They're up in Forestville. Beautiful little community. Arlene Miller does the job up there, and they have a good bunch, shows up regularly, and they didn't bother with their minutes at the last time. You know, any meeting, if you want to shorten it, just say, I move we dispense with the minutes, the reading of the minutes. And that takes another 10 minutes out of the program. Happy birthday over there to the Pioneers, Richard Mosier, Loretta Nobles, Wilma Crowell, Betty Kazora, and last but not least, Dorothy Schneider. Next meeting will show up next month. Silver Creek, they have a great bunch. They meet December, they met December 28th, and they meet every 2 weeks over there. And they have a great clubhouse, terrific clubhouse. Irene Connie is their chaplain now. She's for years been the president over at Silver Creek, and they're getting together suggestions like all the clubs, you know, for new programs, trips. Of course, the senior trips are golden, and I don't know. Silver Creek Seniors. This is Silver Creek Seniors, and there's another Silver Creek Seniors. Notice here, there are two clubs over there, you know, in Silver Creek. And Newman opened the session of the second group, and the prayer was presented by Connie. I think this is a second copy. They probably sent in 2 weeks' worth anyway, but I just want to mention Julie Anger, hello. She's back from the hospital and getting well. Dues are accepted. It's time. Most of the clubs are collecting dues now. Westfield collects $2. Can you believe it? That's a pretty reasonable price. Everybody goes to Westfield. They ask you to. They meet at the YWCA, and they ask you to bring a dish to pass and your service. So it makes things real simple. Everybody can have a nice, wonderful combined dinner. They usually provide us something to go along with it. And Shirley Capine is the one who's running it. Now, Shirley has a husband who's very active in the fire department. He's a member of the fire police, and he is a terrific player of a game called scat. He's a scatter. And he goes over there. I think he's budgeting because he does so well at scat. Puts an extra $10 a week into his budget. They're going to do some desserts, incidentally, over there at Westfield. They did something great, too, in Westfield. They donated articles of outerwear to Union Relief, which gives it to people who are poor. And they had over 52 articles given, scarves, coats, jackets, mittens, all kinds of wonderful things. And it was just great. You know, this is the seniors take care of their own community in many ways. Okay, now, Fran Anderson installed the officers, President Scopine, Vice President Jerry Harper, President Treasurer Dolores Kaufman, Secretary Kinney, and the committee chairpersons are Gladys Hess and Pat Everts, Trudy Stafford, Kinney. Everybody had an exchange of gifts afterwards. Next meeting will be January 13th. Again, don't forget your dish to pass. Quick note here, the last but not least is Mayville, and I just have a quick note here. They always meet. They have the dish to pass and also your service over at the Mayville VFW, and the auxiliary there often provides them their lunches. Just takes care of everything. You don't have to worry about dish to pass. What a wonderful group. The VFW, taking care of seniors. So does American Legion, I might add. You know where they're in Mayville, it's down at the foot of the hill along the lake up toward the just up a little ways. You can't miss it. They have a beautiful grounds there, too. They have a gazebo. They have a picnic area. They have a huge kitchen. Oh, what a place. Thank you, Mayville VFW. New officers over in Mayville. Joyce Ayers is the president. Fran Miller, who's always there, done work for years and years and years. First vice, Wanda Gustafson, been there president. These have all been presidents before. Second vice, Zeta Eileen will be secretary. Sandy Wagner assisting her. Edna Brown, treasurer. Bonnie Johnson assisting. And they do need volunteers for family court. A lot of kids need help in family court. The Backwoods Bluegrass plays over there, and if you want them to play at your senior group, get in touch with them. They are terrific. And we have here, time is up. News time is over. I did want to mention one thing before I go, though. I had dinner over at the Lakeview. That's at lovely 2 restaurants at the foot of the hill. One's basically fish, the other one's chops in the works. And they have a fish fry that kills. The fish fry is 2 giant pieces off it lapping over your plate. Can't believe it. And along with the fish fry, you get the salad bar. You've never seen a salad bar until you've seen theirs. Both restaurants have a huge salad bar with everything you dreamed of. Now, I like eggs. I like cheese on my salad. Of course, I like blue cheese dressing, but you have 6 dressings you can pick from. I put in a chickpea once in a while. I like a regular pea once in a while. Tomatoes, some potato salad or macaroni salad, and pepperoni, and of course the croutons and the nuts and the bacons. They have real bacon, I might add. It goes on and on. I've never seen such a salad bar. Go over there and try it. $3.99. You can, you'll have all you can eat of the salad bar. A huge plate. Lakeview, thank you. And I thank the people over there doing the job, Sandy and Rick and Dave. They have a group over there. They are charmed. They're so terrific. Okay, not enough said about that. I got it. Yeah, public service announcement. Okay, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is for you. Then the geezer. Oops.
Americans is struggling with hunger. Who's the 1 in 8 in your life? You can help today. Visit feedingamerica.org/1 in 8 to find your local food bank.
Shoots from the hip. Here's the geezer. More Fletcher.
I took a trip to
Good morning,
Elkhart,
Reed.
Indiana
Good morning,
Elkhart's
ladies
a
and
place
gentlemen.
that has lost.
Hold on more. There's something else on the air. Okay, I guess you're on now. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you know me, Reed. I'm deaf on one ear, and I can hardly hear in the other one. But in any event, Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday I had the craziest day in my life. I woke up, looked at the calendar, and for some reason or other I thought it was my birthday. Well, I hadn't gotten any calls from anyone, no cards in the mail, so naturally I started feeling sorry for myself and did something I never do. I went out and bought myself a birthday present. I mean, after all, what the heck is a birthday without a present? And I'm having more darn fun. Believe it or not, what I am holding up to you is a camera. I've never seen anything this size. I used to be a very active camera person. I acquired at one time in my life a speed graphic which used a sheet film that you had to load into a special container one at a time, and was the camera, standard camera, used by photographers, newspaper photographers principally. But in any event, this darn little thing does a lot more than that multi-$100 speed graphic, and it's fantastic. If you like to take pictures, take a look at one of these little things. I won't tell you the name. It's not nice to promote products on our show. But amazing. If you don't take pictures, by the way, you want to start. It is the most fabulous hobby in the world, especially when you get into past your mid-80s like I am, and you forget what your mother looked like. It's good to have pictures to look back at. But as far as hobbies go, I've stopped collecting stamps, and this is it for me. Reed, thank you.
What kind of film does it use? You didn't mention that.
Oh, well, I didn't want to promote anything. It's made by...
I didn't ask who it's made by. I said, what kind of film does it use?
Doesn't use film at all.
Okay, it's a digital camera.
Yes.
Okay, great. How much was it, roughly?
Roughly $100.
There you go. You can't beat it. Can't beat the
No,
price.
not for what this thing
I
does.
just bought one. I bought a little cam that goes on my on top of my computer. You just lay it up there, and it takes pictures. It actually photographs you in real life as you're talking to someone. It makes a great
Tell you what,
great
you
phone.
two look at me and smile.
No, I'm not going to smile, and I'm not going to look at you. So at any rate, guys, treat yourself to the new world. This camera you can buy for $19 over Walmart, and it's they run between 19 and 30 bucks. But I got one for 19, and it takes pictures of you as you're talking to someone. It's got you on live. It's a movie, and you can communicate with people like a video phone. It just costs $2,000. You can do it with your computer. Go into Yahoo and use their room or something, and you're all set. Okay, guys, enough said. We've got with us a guest here. I don't think he really believes he's ever going to be on, but he's been here before. He knows we rattle on and rattle on for a long, long time. And his name is Dave Carr. He's the mayor of Westfield, and better known as, I may call him Red once in a while. So when I was a kid, can I tell the story about when I was nailed speeding out there?
Go ahead.
Okay, I was nailed with that. I was speeding down the road on Route 20 one time, and the state trooper barracks is there across from the old cemetery in Portland. And Port Westfield, actually. And there was a traffic stop, and I was driving without a license. I didn't have a driver's license. I was 16 years old. I did have a state, and I did have learner's permits, but I had my girlfriend with me. As I approached it, I saw there was a roadblock, so I turned around, fired off, took off the other way like a bat out of hell, and the troopers ran me down in a wink and pulled me back to the station. And I called my mother and Art Tennant, who was she worked for at the time. Everybody remembers Art Tennant. He was a lawyer in Westfield for years. His family, his great-great-great-grandfather settled Chautauqua County, a guy by the name of McMahon. At any rate, they all came down. We chatted. They all talked about the situation or whatever. I was here. I was going to get big tickets and everything for running away and for not having a driver's license and whatever. So at any rate, they chatted for a while, and then Red said, like the wisdom of Solomon, and he said, here's how we'll do it, see. Now, if he has, there's one thing I forgot to tell you. I pointed out I'd taken my driver's license test the week before, and maybe I passed, who knows. So Red said, look, I'll tell you what we'll do here. If you failed the test, you're in deep trouble. I think that's a word. And secondly, if you pass the test, this probably will go away. Fortunately, I passed the test. But I'll never forget Red Carr in action down at the state trooper station. All right, so at any rate, I told my story.
You can't get away with that these days.
Probably not.
Things have changed a lot.
Yeah, you'll wind up in the pokey.
Right.
Well, back then things were a little calmer.
Yeah, they
quieter.
were. Yes, they were.
I thought it was a more genteel, nice time to live, frankly, especially since, well, I won't get into the drunk driving
Well, you
situation.
could use your own judgment on a lot of
Yeah,
things.
you could.
But
And oftentimes judgment is very important because it mitigates the insanity of some of the crazy rules and regulations we're dealing with. All right, Red, now you've been, how long have you been the mayor over in Westfield?
6 years.
6 years. And when's your term expire?
March 15th, I think it is, 16th
this year.
is the election, yes.
Okay, and you're going to go into quiet retirement, or you're going to run?
No, I'm going to run again.
You're running, okay, good.
I have to have something to do to keep my gray matter working.
Yeah, right. Well, you're doing a job over there, and I love the way the parks are showing up. You're doing a lot of work in those parks.
Well, our electric crew and we've got some volunteers that do a good job for me.
Yeah, well,
very willing. They spend a lot of time at it. Easton Hall, Marilyn Hemmer, and she got all of her friends in there to decorate Easton Hall. I think it looked better this year than it has in a long time. Charity ball night. My wife was sick, so we didn't go, but I understand the decorations were great.
Oh, yeah. Well, I used to go to the charity ball, too. And that's the only time I ever wore my tuxedo, which I'd gotten at a garage sale. And it was in perfect fit somehow.
Right.
And unfortunately, my wife is a little under the weather, too, on a permanent basis. So we don't go anymore. But it is a wonderful gesture, and they'd use the funding from it for charity.
That's right.
Relief,
That's right.
The women's.
That's been going on for something like 80 years, 85 years.
And it's just terrific.
Yeah.
And it's a big party. The whole village goes to it.
Well, a couple of things I'd like to comment on. The first thing is I'd like to thank everybody all over town of Chautauqua, Ripley, Brockton, Portland, Westfield, who stepped up and helped save our hospital. That's a need that we have to have, and finally the state understood.
It was a narrow escape.
It was a very narrow escape, but we've survived, and I'd like to thank everybody that was involved in that process.
Right, especially our representatives in Albany, Kathy Young,
Bill Parment, they all were. They stepped up to the plate and helped us out.
Right, and it is a wonderful thing. I don't know what we would do without the hospital if it's going to be a 40-minute trip to the nearest hospital.
That's right.
And you've been burned or bleeding or have a heart attack or something.
That's right.
You're history.
That's
I mean,
right.
that's just what's going to happen, especially as seniors.
One of the other things I'd like to comment on, the village now is in the process of installing automatic meter readers for both the water meters and the electric meters. It'll cut down the time from a month to about a week to read all the meters, the water meters and the electric meters.
What's the difference between how's the automatic reader work? Guy got to come around?
No, they can have it set up in zones, and whoever's reading the meters can park in that zone and plug that into the handheld device, and it'll automatically read all of the meters in that. And then at the end of the evening, his work day, he'll go back to the office and put the reader into another electronic device, and during the night it'll download all of the meter readings and print out the bills. So it'll make it much easier.
And you're doing this with water also? Water and electric?
Yep. The electric meters are quite easy to put in. The water meters, we have to get into the basement and install those, and they're in the process of doing that now.
Good. The gas company will be doing it too, I'm sure.
Well, the gas company, I think, does it in some areas now. Okay,
sure. Wonders will never cease in this modern age, will they?
That's right.
Why don't you pull over here a little bit,
all right,
Red, so that he can get out and get better close.
Okay.
That's good.
I don't have to put my arm around you, though, do
no,
I?
No kisses allowed. Red Carr, the mayor of Westfield, here to talk, and we're going to open the phones up now, Mort, so you can take the next calls that come in. The number is 753-5225, Jack, It's Jack, if you can't remember all those numbers. And we have, you can call in about anything, incidentally. Wish somebody happy birthday. I'll send you $5 off at the Lakeview. I'll give you 2 Lakeview $5 off. What the heck? It's the best restaurant on God's earth. That's strictly an editorial comment, which may or may not be true. It is, anyway. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, a couple of my disappointments are we don't have the Welch office building. That's not filled. The ROR building is still empty. And they're both beautiful buildings. It would be nice if we could get someone in either one of the buildings. My other frustration is the Portage Inn. About every year it comes up on county auction. Somebody buys it. The last guy bought it for $100. He had a contract to do some repairs to it.
Okay, we'll talk about that, because I think that is worth talking about, because it's an affliction that basically all the villages have to bear, is these empty buildings.
That's
okay,
right.
We got a call. Let's take it. Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting. Hello? Mort hangs up on everybody. You know, he's kind of getting old. He's got a birthday coming up. He'll be 86 in a few days.
Yeah, he told me that his birthday
And
was
you said it was older than you.
Yeah, he is.
And me. Okay, so yeah, the Lakeview. Now, as far as I can remember, not the Lakeview, the Portage Inn, the pub, as we used to call it.
That was a pub.
And it had a great meal. You know, when Millie ran it, you used to get a rib that was this big,
Two people
prime.
couldn't eat it.
You couldn't eat it. It was that thick and this big.
That's right.
And it was peanuts. It was a good price.
That's right.
And it went on and on and on. Then suddenly it was closed, foreclosed, whatever, went under. One guy bought it, one guy bought it. Now, how many people bought it now?
4 people since I've been the mayor have owned it.
In the last 6 years.
Yeah.
What do they do? They promise all kinds of things, then what happens?
Well, basically they pay $100 for it, or they don't pay anything for it, and they come in, take a look at it, and shake their heads. We had a structural engineer about 4 years ago estimated it would be between $3.5 and $4 million to rehab it, and people around this area don't have that kind of money. We have restaurants now that are barely making it. We do need a good place. We do need a modern, up-to-date motel. We have 2 motels that the one down by the Thruway does quite a bit of business in the summer. The old theater motel, I don't know.
It's kind of around the year business now.
Yeah, it is.
Just living there.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I can't imagine why somebody would put even $3 million in it, because you never get your money back.
Absolutely.
I mean, never in a million
not in today's
years.
world. You never get that.
Especially as you pointed out, there are several restaurants right in the area that are shaky.
Right.
They're barely making it.
That's right.
And they close every week if somebody's closing down, because it's just even the best known restaurant. Look, the Village on the Green in New York City, one of the best known restaurants, went bankrupt. Is this a real phone call? Is Mark going to hang up again? Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Reed.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
What's up?
Helen Barron, I just wanted to...
Oh, I thought I recognized your twangy voice, but I wasn't sure, you know?
That's right. I just wanted to thank Mayor Carr for his kind comments about the hospital, and to just say that I am so ingratiated to all the people who wrote letters, who made phone calls, who faxed, who participated in the beautiful videos that a group of people made.
Yeah, that was some of our team, you know.
Yes, and it is still on YouTube, I believe, but the outpouring and caring of people, and I really have to thank Senator Kathy Young and former Assemblyman Bill Parment, because they really went way beyond what anyone knows to help us out in meeting in Albany, and really going after people. And I think that we are on solid ground now, expanding services, bringing in specialists, and we remain the people's hospital, and it is their hospital, and they fought for it many times, and I am just very grateful to everyone, including the mayor.
So it's going to be renamed the People's Hospital?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
it should be, though.
I know.
Tell me, Helen, what are the services? How many rooms do you have that you can use around the clock? I mean, over long term. How many overnight? I know the ER is open. I know testing is going on, and I don't know about rehab. Give us a little outline of what we're going to have now.
Oh, this is really off the cuff.
Sure, of course, but you won't get it all. But
we have 4 inpatient beds, and in those 4 inpatient beds, people can be in those beds for 72 hours.
Okay.
Okay. And as you know, most of medical care today is really done on an outpatient basis. So if somebody has a gallbladder removed or some joint surgery or something, you know, they can be admitted. And we are seeing a lot of activity in those beds now since we have physicians in the emergency room during the 12 daytime hours.
Okay.
And these are board-certified doctors that are taking care of patients in the emergency room, and that's really wonderful. And that's when we're busiest, is during the day, so that's great. We offer all the physical therapy, cardiac, rehab. For physical therapy, you know, also you have radiology.
That's X-ray.
That's X-ray with a CAT scan. And we plan on ramping some of those technologies up. We're going to be seeing a lot of new technology coming. We have a full-service laboratory, and then there's outpatient laboratory in back of the hospital, a sleep clinic, and a wound clinic. And we will be unveiling an ear, nose, and throat clinic at the hospital very shortly. And the plan is for some of the specialists from St. Vincent to be coming down, and I can't really say what specialties those are going to be, but they're going to be specialties that everyone is going to be very happy to see.
Okay, one of the things that I think we may miss is the OB, right?
That's right,
yeah.
Yes. But maternity, you know, you're seeing that happen all over the country, and I can say that in talking to some of the physicians that were delivering babies, they are still seeing pregnant women up until their 3rd trimester, at which time they're turned over to a specialist, an OBGYN, and then they come back to their family physician after the baby's born.
Okay, great. I talked to John, who was one of your active doctors over there, and he tells me that he'll miss it.
Yeah, I know. It was a very specialized thing.
It was, and all my grandchildren have been born there.
Right. But if you look at the birth rate today, you know, the birth rate, the average in our country has really gone down. So to continue on having maternity was something that we had to give up.
Yeah, well, I can understand that fully. Well, thank you for your chat on that. And I just have one more question. I happen to know that you and your hubby have a lot of grapes. How's the grape harvest this year, and how are the prices?
The grape harvest was fantastic. It was a vintage year. We had such a wonderful summer, and that's for juice and for wine. And the prices are looking good. You know, we're still seeing repeats of some prices from some producers as to what the farmers were getting 20, 30 years ago, and we're hoping that rises. But our particular processor is doing very well, so we're pleased with that, and we're seeing new products coming out from Concord Grape. So we're very happy with that.
Well, I understand it's very popular in the Orient, especially the grape juice and the jellies. But
yes, it is.
Also, the Chinese put in 100 billion acres of Concords, but they use them all.
Yes, they do. Their wine consumption and juice consumption is huge.
Right.
And one of the local producers, Brick Village Gourmet, is now putting out a Concord Light vinaigrette that has 50% fewer calories in it than the regular Concord grape vinaigrette. It's beautiful and it's delicious.
Who's doing that? You can mention that.
That's Tim Murphy at Brick Village Gourmet in Mayville.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. It's wonderful having you on. Call back again. Incidentally, send me a stamped self-addressed envelope or drop around, and I'll give you a couple of $5 off at the Lakeview, which has a salad bar that kills, I might add.
Okay, thank you, Reed, and thanks, Mayor Carr.
Thank you for the call.
Bye.
Yeah, I think that's the greatest positive news we've had up here in years.
Yes, it is. No question about it.
The hospital is here to stay.
That's right.
Mayor Carr, he's the mayor in Westfield, doing the job, and I just wanted to mention the park, the fact that the parks have been beautifully refurbished. You know, the center part of most villages is their park. They have a
That's
nice
right.
park. And we have a huge park
That's right.
donated to us by a gentleman way back when who built that beautiful house there. And the idea was it was going to be big enough so they could have a church on every 4 corners. But only 2 corners were
That's
used.
right.
They got 2 corners, the Episcopalian church and the Presbyterian church. And the other corner is just vacant.
Right.
And I guess they're still waiting for somebody, maybe somebody will want it. But it's been beautifully refurbished. I noticed there's some lovely brickwork set up.
That's right.
With recycled brick, I might add, plastic. And it has an awful lot of nice things going on over there.
Right.
And the Lincoln Memorial.
Right. And the other thing I want to comment on, February 16th, the National Park Service is going to have a reenactment of President Lincoln's trip from Chicago on to Washington for his inauguration. They're going to stop in Westfield. I don't have all the plans yet, but they're going to do a reenactment of the president giving the bouquet to the little girl,
Grace
Bedell. They estimate that there'll be several hundred people in their entourage. They're not going by train, they're going to be coming by bus. It would be nice if they could do the reenactment down at the railroad station and have them come through by rail, but apparently
something boggled down.
CSX won't let them.
Yeah. Okay, we got another call. You want to take it?
Sure.
Hey, good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting. Hello. You know, I don't know, Mort. He hung up on him. Okay, so we'll try to get that call back.
Okay.
Yeah, the railroad down there, the depot is really still just as it was
Yeah, it
when
is.
I was a
Yes,
little
it is.
kid. Back
Yes,
in
it is.
1940-something, I used to go down there and watch
Right.
the trains come in. We used to put a penny on the track, remember?
Yep.
And it'd squash it the
Right.
size of a quarter.
Yep.
Okay, caller, you back?
Yes, I'm back. It's John Rawlinson.
Well, hello, John.
Morning, John.
Good morning. I just wanted to, good morning, follow up on the call from Helen, which, again, I think that sometimes we dwell too much on the negatives in our area, and I just want to bring up some of the positives that Westfield are doing and that the mayor has been very involved with. I'm surprised Alan didn't mention the fact that the Concord Great Belt Discovery Center is doing extremely well, and I think will be a big asset to this community.
Where is that now?
That's on West Main, of course, down with the old Ford garage.
The old Ford garage.
Yes.
I wondered what they were doing with that. It looked like they really were refurbishing it like
Right.
crazy.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be a restaurant.
No. And I think what I think will happen there, of course, it will be a big tourist attraction for Westfield once they get the rest of the funding and get it open, which hopefully will happen maybe later this year. In addition to that, I want to also mention the fact that we have 3 more buildings on East Main now that are going to be occupied. We've got a new winery in the old Murray Price building. We've got a
new winery?
New winery.
Gee, that's
Seven
about the
Vines Winery.
4th or 5th one we have now, right?
Yes.
We're in transition here between grape juice and wine.
Right. And then we've got the landmark car dealer business vacant building that's going to be occupied by Ad Lumber. We also have the building that was vacant that was the old countertop building owned by Jim Alexander that's going to be another car dealer there. So, the point I want to make is that quite often we dwell on some of the negatives that are going on in the community, and I think it's important to also bring up some of these positives. And a lot of that is to do with our government, both the town and the mayor, and I think that we should actually keep the positives accentuated and eliminate the negatives.
Well, aren't you so correct?
Thanks, John.
How about the county? Is it helping out here?
Well, the county, I think the mayor could make some comments. If we bring the portage in again up on the table, I think the mayor could make some comments about how the county could help some of these small communities with some of the buildings, the derelict buildings like the Portage
Yeah,
Inn.
well, unfortunately, the Portage Inn, as you know, it'd take about $3 to $4 million to refurbish it, and there is absolutely no way you can possibly get your money back.
Right.
Especially with restaurants folding up all over the place. I had the director for small businesses from Jamestown, the county level, and he said, look, the one thing you do not want to do is even dream of opening a restaurant in this economic climate.
Right. So we have the derelict building, and I think where the county could help here is that they could assist in demolishing the building up. Basically, that's
I
what
think
needs
you're
to be
right. That's
done.
the only answer at this point.
That's right. That is the only answer to it.
Yeah, and I know the mayor has been pretty active in trying to make things happen with the county in that regard. And
why doesn't the village just buy it and demolish it? $100.
We don't have that kind of money to demolish it.
$100?
Oh, yeah, we can buy it, but
get Sammy Arnold to come over there.
yeah, right. He's in Florida now.
So anyway,
Yeah, okay.
even though I think there are some negatives taking place, I think the positives are outweighing the negatives in Westfield, and I think the village and the town are doing an excellent job in keeping our community, still vital.
Okay, well, thank you, John Robinson.
Thanks, John.
Now, your position is?
My position? Well, I'm Executive Director of the Economic Development in Westfield, and of course you had me on the program
Yeah, a
few
while
weeks
back, and you did a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, John.
John's doing a good job for us in that position that he's in, too.
Yeah, well,
I try to be very optimistic about our times. We have a new governor. We have a new turnover in politics in Washington. And things can't get worse, I don't think. They've got to get better.
Yeah, I agree.
And we have a new governor. He's talked a lot about what he's going to do.
he's going to bring back pride, but he doesn't say how or
It's
what.
just going to, you got to keep your fingers crossed to see that he's going to accomplish it. But he's got a big job to do. That's dysfunctional Albany, and it has been for years. He's got to turn it around.
What's wrong with Albany, Red? You've been around a long time. What's wrong? What is wrong down there? There's something obviously screwed up royally.
Well, we're run by New York City, number one.
That's what Kathy Young says.
And
everybody who's in charge and authority is from New York City.
And we do what New York City wants.
So we're sort of the tail that wags the dog. They
that's
come up
right.
here and say, you go along with us. And there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Well, I remember...
We need a whole change. I've said for years that Albany needs a great big enema.
I go along with that. Well, I know there are only two people down there who have any power. Three, the governor and Silver, who runs the assembly.
I don't make any bones about it. Sheldon Silver should be someplace else. He served his time.
Right.
He's been good, but it's just...
Well, one of the candidates who was on the program, I had both candidates for that position, had mentioned the fact she's going to go down and straighten them out. I said, you will do exactly what Shelley Silvers tells you to do,
That's right.
or you won't have a parking space.
That's right.
You wouldn't be on a committee. You'll be on the egg-laying committee, you know.
You'll be relegated to some outhouse somewhere.
Nobody will ever heard of you. You'll simply disappear.
That's right.
So that's the way it's run. Iron rule.
Politics should not be that way.
Yeah, the iron rule in the assembly, and the same as in the House, in the Senate. I forget his name. Skelos. Skelos is running that now. Since the last one is in jail, or he's been convicted of all kinds of crimes or whatever. But Skelos is now running that, and he's runs the same way. If you don't do exactly what he tells you, you just disappear.
Actually, I think that our government in Albany has been an embarrassment in the last several years. Look at the number of people that have ended up in jail, or they've been arrested, or they beat up their girlfriend, whatever. There shouldn't be any question about it. They should be automatically kicked out. They have to set an example. The example comes from the top, and if they can't set the example, they got no business being there.
Well, we are very fortunate, and we have Andy Goodell going down now.
That's
to
right.
Represent us. He's a long time. He's a kid. He's a Shaw County kid. And he's been
That's
here
right.
all his life too. and I think he'll do a good job. And
Kathy Young has done an excellent job.
Kathy Young is a princess in my. I want to throw everybody out excepting Kathy Young from the Senate.
I don't know how she does what she does because she's all over. Like
she is just very, very active
Yep.
here, and she brings a lot of funding in. She lost her opportunity the last year or so because the Democrats had taken over, but now the Republicans are back. And she's got a nice new committee post, I might add, finance committee.
Yes.
That's a big one. That controls everything that comes in and out, and they will do exactly what Skelos tells them to do. That's the way these things are run up there. It's just two people running the whole New York State legislature.
That's right.
And they're dictators, total dictators.
There's too many people in all these departments. They have more supervisors than they do workers, and that's time to quit that too.
Yeah, whenever I see the road crew out there, I see a couple of people standing around, and then the other 2 people shoveling and 3 people standing around watching.
But then one of the most important ones is the DEC, and they've pillaged that. They don't have enough people to take care of what's going on. A new commissioner's been appointed. Maybe that'll change.
DEC, what's that?
Environmental conservation.
Okay, the old-fashioned game warden.
Yep.
You might remember Johnny Zenz. Nobody even, when I say Johnny Zenz, they look at me with a blank stare. We have a Zenz right here, as a matter of fact. Don Zenz helping out.
Right.
Johnny Zenz was a ghost. He was an incredible game warden. He would just suddenly appear when you were doing something illegal. Out in the middle of nowhere, in some deserted forest glade off a side road.
The ones I remember, Don Melrose was the same way. They were great guys, and they were common, ordinary guys. But now it's become so sophisticated that they all have to have a degree in something to
grab a poacher.
Well, they don't. They do so many other things besides grabbing the poachers. You know, they keep an eye on the gas well drilling and anything that's involved in the environment, the water, sewers. They're involved in everything.
They're very busy people. And
yeah, they are.
It's not a matter of grabbing them. Well, I was up hunting with, you remember Gary Skinner, and he and I decided to go do a little early season hunting for grouse, and we wound up way up in the back of Parker Road somewhere in a little desolated, quiet area, and we went in there, and grouse came tramping across the road, across a clearing. We were on an old lumber trail, and both of us shot at it, and we missed the son of a gun. He was a sitting target too, but we
and
missed
he flew
him.
away.
Yeah, he flew away. But during the progress of our hunt, I did manage to bag a red squirrel, which was totally illegal. You could back then you didn't have a season for red squirrels. Red squirrels are the bane of all the other nice squirrels because they chase them down, they bite their nuts off, and then they can't reproduce.
Right.
Which is an interesting way of dealing with your competition, I might add. But at any rate, we came out of this clearing, and guess who's standing there? Johnny Zenz.
Yeah.
What do you got in your bag, Reed? He knew me from before. I said, just a red squirrel. He said, let me see it. I whipped out the red squirrel. He said, all right. Were you guys shooting at grouse? No, not us. But that's the way the guy was. He was there.
That's right.
He was always there.
One of the other things I'd like to comment about, and I probably won't be too popular for making this comment.
Oh, go ahead. What the
but
hell?
But all the municipal employees, including all the employees in the village of Westfield, have to take a random drug test every year. It's law. They have to do it.
That means the fire department, too, have to do this? Technically, they're employees of the village.
I don't know if I don't know if they do or not. All of our employees have to take this drug test. However, in the recent months, the people who've been arrested for drug sales or drug use in the village have been welfare recipients. Maybe I shouldn't say welfare. They're social services. That's the proper thing to say.
That's politically correct.
Right,
yeah, but
right.
But
I think the state should enact a law. Everybody that's on welfare, social service, what do you want to call it, has to take a random drug test. If they fail, then they're removed they're out. That's it.
I agree. Incidentally, there was I think there was such a law proposed in the state assembly at this point on that one.
It could have been.
I mean, because if you're going to if you're going to receive welfare, you know darn well.
If you're going to get my money, do it.
Right.
Use it the way it's supposed to be used.
And if you're a drug addict, we know darn well you're going to
That's right.
throw it away on drugs.
That's right.
And we can't have that. That's no
right.
good. Not in this day and age. Red Carr, our mayor in Westfield, talking about things in general. The phones are still open. Number 753-JACK. And if you want to make a comment, have a question, or anything you want to say, you could talk about the president. We don't care. This program's open-ended. Now, the Westfield has many, many wonderful services. We have a great emergency service.
That's right.
We've got 2 ambulances.
That's right.
And very competent crews. We have
That's
a whole bunch of people who spent half their life taking EMT courses so that they can perform. What do you think?
I have a problem with that, all the state interfering with the EMTs, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
When I first came around here in this area, the only thing you had to have was advanced first aid. I don't think that they lost anybody from the scene to the hospital. But now you have to have an EMT to transport somebody. In our area, if you're 2 blocks away and there's not an EMT available, you have to call either Brockton, Portland, or Ripley. You wait 10, 15 minutes. By that time, they could load the person on a gurney and push them to the hospital. I just don't.
Well, you know, Red, I've been on the emergency squad and the fire department for many, many, many years. And they do, and if the police now have, in Mayville, they have a policy, and I don't know who wrote it or where it came from, but they have to use it. If you have not responded with a crew and an EMT within 10 minutes,
right.
And of course it takes 10 minutes to brush a car off in this weather,
right.
They will now summon everybody in Brockton and Portland. They wake
right.
everybody up. They
That's
send
right.
the alarm goes off, all
right.
the pagers go off, and it's getting to the point where it's almost doing away with mutual aid because people don't respond.
That's right.
They just say, the heck with it.
Let somebody else come.
By the time I get up, dress, clean my car, get to the station, get the call, drive over to Westfield, they'll have an EMT, and we do. I have been on for years, and we probably had 100, 200, 300 calls for mutual aid during the time I was actually working. One time, and one time only, did we get mutual aid there before we got an EMT there.
Yeah.
And in that case, it was a good old fellow from Portland who actually came down. He happened to be ready to run, and the woman had a bellyache. That was the problem.
Yeah.
And our EMT was there at the same time he was.
Yeah.
So this question of giving them just 10 minutes and waking up the whole village, 2 whole villages, seems to me is kind of peculiar. That's the rule they have to go by, though. And I wish they would examine that a little bit, you know. Fortunately, to their credit, they will call back and say, how you doing over there?
Yeah.
And if
I've
it
heard
looks
that.
like you're going to get somebody, they don't blow the whistle yet.
Yeah.
Although sometimes it's automatic.
Right. Right.
But whatever. We do have wonderful services, and we do have the mutual aid, which is very important.
Then when they get in the ambulance, then they have to perform all of the functions that have been set down.
Right.
Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I think you get the person in the ambulance and get them to the hospital as quick as you can.
Well, in our case, especially in the village, you can have them there in 3-4 minutes.
That's right.
I mean, that's it. There's not you don't really have to stop the ambulance and take all their vitals. You can take them right to the hospital,
right,
and let them worry about the vitals.
Right.
These are little nuances that we all have to deal with. You deal with it because you're involved with the fire department and everybody else.
But those guys those fellows that are the EMTs have to spend so much time.
Oh, it's horrific.
To renew their certificate.
Yeah, I know because I've gone through it
That's
myself,
right.
as you
That's
know.
right.
We got a couple more calls. You want to take
Okay,
a couple?
sure.
We
sure.
won't have much more time, so we'll
Sure.
go from right now. Hello, caller.
Oh, good morning, Mayor Carr, and good morning, Reed. This is Linda Spalding.
Oh,
Happy
Linda
New
Spalding.
Year.
Well, happy
morning,
New Year
Linda.
to you and to that wonderful. She's married to the sweetest old guy, you know, to Doug over there.
But I think it's just wonderful. Congratulations on the saving of our Westfield Hospital.
Well, we can congratulate the whole county
That's
because
right.
everybody jumped into this.
Yes, everybody
Because it
did.
doesn't just affect Westfield;
Yes.
it affects
and I'm
all
so
the surrounding
glad that
community.
we all did.
Right, and
Yes.
I am too, and especially Chautauqua. You use our hospital all the time.
Oh, we do. We do. I can't imagine not having it.
Oh, I can't either. I can't dream of what was in their mind when they said, let's shut this little hospital down, and then people can drive for almost an hour by the time an ambulance gets to them, loads them up, and takes them in. God help you.
Yeah, I think the people that worked on the Berger report just worked on reports and documents. I don't think they've gone out to see many people.
Yeah, that's what the hospital here says. They just didn't even read our report.
Yeah. But I'm so grateful.
I noticed there's a whole bunch of hooches out in front of you now.
Oh, yes, I saw there's a lot out.
Yeah, there's a whole village out there in the lake.
They're ice fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get wonderful perch, I understand.
Right, and they also, they have little heaters in there.
Yes.
And they have little warm chairs. Some of them have a little cot. And some of them, I understand there's some fooling around.
Well, I don't know about that. When I go by, they're ice fishing, and they show me all their fish that they've caught, and it's really great to see this.
Yes, and the fish are nice size,
yes,
considering
they are.
everything. And it's a wonderful sport, really. But, boy, I'll tell you, you better have a heater.
It's cold out there.
It's cold in them there hills and on that lake.
Well, it's 8 degrees above zero right now.
Is it really? I got to go run home immediately and run some hot water.
That's what it is on our porch. Thank goodness we don't have a wind, or it would be a lot worse.
Well, see, there's a big difference up here than down where we are in Westfield. Now, down in Westfield, it's about 60. It's really nice and comfy down there.
60?
You know? Yeah, I thought it was.
I think my thermometer this morning said 16 or 18.
I'll have to go down there today to get a suntan.
Well, the flowers are beginning to bloom in Westfield. Okay, Linda, you're running some sort of a program. Let's get a quickie in on that.
The Senior Employment Program.
Okay.
We also have senior computer training for basic introductory skills. And by the way, one at Patterson Library in Westfield. It's free. It's a great course. But I have the Senior Employment Program. We have jobs. Please call the Office for the Aging for employment services and other senior services at 753-4471.
Okay, great. We got it right on the screen here.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you, and keep that dog. You're training a new dog now, right?
2 dogs.
2 dogs that play the piano.
Yes.
Yeah, they can do a duet. Well, give our best to Doug, and may you have a good time out there. And you might want to go do a little ice fishing yourself, but make sure you have a hooch.
Yeah, the only thing I don't enjoy about catching fish is the cleaning of them.
That's the worst part, but what you got to do is have a husband who will do it. Now, see, I have a feeling that old guy you're married to would not dream of cleaning a bunch of fish up. He'd say, go down to the supermarket, and for $5.95 you can get all the fish you want.
Yeah. I've been looking for somebody to clean the fish for me because I love perch.
Yeah, I do too, especially lake perch. You know, this ocean perch is just nonsense.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, guys, we got to go. Thank you.
Week.
Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
Just got the message here. Red, we're out of here.
We're out.
30 seconds, close it up.
Well, I just want to reiterate the fact that I appreciate everything that all my volunteers have done in the village. I ask people to do things for me, and they're right there, ready to do it. And you can't do things, you can't get anything accomplished without volunteers. And,
especially the 50 firemen we have there.
That's right. That's right.
That's
right. They put in a lot of time.
24/7.
Yep.
Risk of life and limb, I might add. Thank you, Red Carr, Mayor of Westfield, better known as Dave Carr these days when his hair turns white. I want to thank all the special people. Sorry, caller, we have a last caller. You'll have to wait until next year when he comes on again.
Okay.
We have Chuck Kelsey, does a job, did a wonderful fellow, is a hard worker. He's all into the arts and TV. Devin Taylor, same. Chris Burt, Chris Ramaker, Mort Flexer, Randy Burt, Jeff Zook, and last but not least, Don Zenz. What a team we have here. We have other people coming through and helping besides. Get out there, dance in the sun, love the times you're on earth for a long time of beauty and care and joy. May all that is proud and true and noble abide with you. I'm Reed Powers. Good show.